center for about 2 years already, you know. And we always help him out with whatever he needs, you know, regarding transferring. You know, he just graduated, so he was just trying to get into like HBCU colleges, and so he was helping one of the students that he was talking to with like the online orientation for like the new students, and we were sort of like guiding the student towards it. And when we were filling out the application, one of the police officers came by.
Police officers as in SDPD or college police?
College police. So like he came by and he just like came by the door and he was like, "Is everything okay?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Did you guys call for college police?" And I was like, "Nah." And he's just like, "Okay." And then he just like sort of like walks around for a little bit right here in the front.
They asked me to come outside. I went outside. He started asking me about being on parole and my gang affiliation. When I told him that I was a Crip, he said something on the radio.
It wasn't necessary for them to even be pulling him out of this transfer center for no reason. You know, if he wasn't disturbing us personally, because I work here. You know, he's in our center. He's not doing anything. He's not distracting any of the students. There's no students in here. So that's why I was like, there's no need for him to even pull him outside, you know, so he doesn't have to even talk to the officer if he doesn't want to.
I walked back in the computer room. When I walked back in the computer room, he came in the computer room behind me, and he took me back outside. He asked me, "Could you come back outside?" Normally, I wouldn't have done it. And I'd have made my stand right there, but like I say, we try to do something different.
So where did this thing happen in here? Where were you sitting in here?
I was sitting right over there with a gentleman with the hat on.
Okay.
That's where I was sitting. So I go back outside with him. When I get back outside with him, the conversation seems like it's going a little better. And he tell me a little bit of why he's here. He said, "Well, I received a call from a woman who was getting ready to get on the bus." This is what he said, or this is what he got out of his mouth. At that time, another officer was coming up. And it's ironic that when this officer got close enough to us, he like just took over the conversation.
So you heard a noise right here?
Yeah, I heard a noise like against like a you know, like something like happening, something like, and so like.
And the first thing that he said, "I think you need to take a seat." And I'm like, "No, thank you, sir." He didn't say anything else. He grabbed my arm. When he grabbed my arm, the officer that I was talking to the first time grabbed my body. He grabbed this wrist, and the other officer grabbed my body.
Where was the other officer at?
Right here in front of me. So he grabbed my body, and I'm like, man, for real? What are y'all doing?
And so like me and my coworker ran outside, and I see that the officer has Royce in a headlock, in a full headlock, and he has him in a headlock against that corner right there.
Okay.
And he like has him in the corner.
At one point, the guy who had his arms around my neck was this way, and I guess he was trying to get my arm behind my back. This guy he got a hold to me right here, and he's trying to twist my arm this way. I get punched. Somehow I get down like this, and I get my hand out of him, and I'm holding on to here. And by that time, a third officer had come up. They get to kicking me in my leg along the side, trying to, I guess, get my balance off, or weaken my grip on this wall. I got elbowed in my rib. I got the top part of my mouth busted, from blows that they were throwing at me. They choked me out.
The other officer's right there with him. He's trying to put up the handcuffs on Royce, but like at the same time, I see Royce like pass out. He choked him out, and so he was unconscious.
I guess I blacked out because I didn't really know that I was choked out like that. You know what I mean? I remember him putting his arm around my neck. I remember that, and I remember having him, and I remember him choking me. But I didn't have handcuffs on then. And when I woke up, I realized now that when I got up, I had handcuffs on. So, I guess I must have blacked out or whatever.
And so when he was choking him out, I see like Royce falling, and when Royce fall, the officer puts handcuffs on him, and they do like the double handcuffs. And then when he's on the floor, he sort of starts having like a small seizure, and he like wakes up.
Dude, you don't just go out. I don't have episodes like that where I just black out. I don't have seizures. There's nothing physically wrong with me like that, you know. So it had to have been something that they were doing.
And then minutes after that, the officer didn't read any of his rights to him. He didn't tell him like, you have the right to remain silent. You know, this is why you're being arrested, whatever. None of that was said right after. So that's why I was like, you're not reading his Miranda rights. So like, what's going on right here, and what's the purpose of even arresting the student? You know. And they left his stuff on the floor. They left like he had an inhaler and a lighter, and when he came in here, he had left his phone on the desk because he was using the computer. You know, he left his phone and his pack of cigarettes on the desk. And the officer came back after they escorted him. I don't know where they took him to because I wasn't able to follow him because I was working. And the officer comes back like maybe 10 minutes later, and he walks into our transfer center. He's like, "Is this his stuff?" And I was like, "Yeah," because he had an inhaler. Obviously, I wanted him to get it back, you know. And then I was like, asked the officer, "Is he okay?" And he didn't respond to me. He didn't communicate with me at all. So.
And then if I didn't have that young man there to say that, it would be my word against theirs. And who you think they're gonna believe? And what I mean by they is, I mean, you know, his superiors, the captain. You know what I mean? Those individuals that enforce the policies and procedures here. So, you know, I'm just glad that the young man came forward.